one who stays in every show, showing me shaking my head and my negative nasty feel after that Buffalo game where they jumped. All I can tell you is
Dolphins number one, baby!
Things up, baby.
Dolphins
Things
number
up.
one!
I swear, if a certain quarterback is mentioned in the comments, I got my beers ready. I'm going to crack it open.
Or is it the Serbian kid?
Serbia kid,
This looks done. Oh my god, it looks fantastic.
I hate you so much.
no, you beat man. Not a beat man.
Woo! I'm the man. I said it, and it's reality. All right, now.
Congratulations.
Muy buenas noches, Miami. Welcome to another episode of Fast Break in our original time slot, 8 p.m. every Wednesday. You're watching us on the Finstock Sports Network. So like, subscribe so you can follow some Heat culture. With me, like always, my main man, Clutch, voice of God. How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, everybody? Just excited for a little basketball break after tonight.
Yes, sir. And we don't have him on camera, so he's technically the voice of God today. We got Justin Garfield all the way on the West Coast. He's driving through the sunset. Obviously, it's illegal to drive and be on your phone in California, so we're respecting all laws on this podcast. Justin, how you doing, my man?
Doing great, my guys. Good to be here again.
Beautiful, beautiful. Today, obviously, we know All-Star Weekend is coming up. The Heat are wrapping up mid-season, I guess. It's always a little bit past the mid-season, but we're wrapping up tonight in Brooklyn. Duncan Robinson is back. Should get some minutes maybe because we're a little depleted. So we'll see how that goes. But before we'll talk about All-Star break in a little bit. Since we're on the Heat, I'm just gonna discuss it real quick because there's not really clarity because the buyout market still hasn't fully developed. Obviously, the most attractive option still is Westbrook. So I'll hold my opinion. I'll go to you first, Clutch. Based on what you see, based on our necessities, and we talked the other day about the carcass of Serge Ibaka being a possibility. There's still an outside chance other people will get bought out, like a Kelly Olynyk, doubtful, but there's still that hope. Ideally, right now, what you're working around is John Wall, Russell Westbrook. Everybody else you already has their role. Reports came out today that Russell Westbrook has discussed his roles with the Washington Wizards, the Clippers, the Heat, the Bulls. In my opinion, the most attractive options for him are possibly the Clippers and the Heat. Very realistically, Bulls are a little stagnant, so I don't know if that's going to push the needle. If he goes over, could be. So if your opinion right now, based on the buyout market, the way the structure is, and we'll talk a little bit later about the Kyle Lowry situation, who is still your best option for the buyout market for us?
I mean, for us, we were looking at Ibaka last time, and there's mutual interest, which I mean, I'm not happy about because I would be really, really excited about this move 5 years ago.
Oh yeah,
but I guess it's the buyout market, so there's a reason these players get bought out sometimes.
Always.
But I still think, and you kind of hinted at it with the Kyle Lowry stuff, that Miami has to look at point guard.
Yeah.
Because you can't. He's been solid the few games he's played. This kid Pouye, he's been solid, but he can't be the permanent backup point guard to a playoff team right now.
No, not right now. So he could be in the future, but not right now. He has
you need a point guard. You need. Yes. And the most likely point guard I'm seeing, because I think there's a lot of competition for Westbrook, and there's a couple teams that can offer him a starting spot when we can't.
Yeah.
Or not that we can't, but we won't, because I'm very confident that Spo likes Gabe at the starting point guard. So we probably won't unless he can be sold on the culture, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we probably get beat out on the Westbrook stuff because the Wizards can offer him a starting spot.
Yeah.
The Clippers can offer him a starting spot.
That's what scares me the most, the Clippers.
Yeah, and the Bulls. I mean, they've been searching since Lonzo has
Yeah.
been out way longer than they thought he was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're behind the 8 ball there. I think if like my gut tells me we're going John Wall.
Okay.
I have no reasoning or anything behind it, but my gut's just telling me John Wall for some reason. He's been connected before, so
he's been connected before, and I believe he almost signed with us this offseason, but he went with the Clippers for a bigger role. I know there's rumors supposedly about the Bucks making a push for him. I heard that a few days ago, and then I saw it today on a report. I forgot who it was. If not, I would credit them. But I do know that's a possibility. Justin, I'll throw this out there to you. Obviously, the buyout market, but also an interesting signing for Philadelphia. Apparently, the Sixers have made an upgrade, and they signed Dwayne Dedmon for the rest of the season. How do you feel about that signing? And Clutch, you can answer that one too. That's addition by subtraction for us. I was happy that Philadelphia got him.
All I gotta say is good luck, Philadelphia. You just lost the Super Bowl, and now you think Dwayne Dedmon's gonna save your season?
When I saw it, I was like, I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, they actually picked him up. I mean, and watch, with our luck, if we match up with him in the playoffs, he'll come here and then like on a clinching game, he'll knock down like 3 or 4 3-pointers just to prove us wrong. But Clutch, Justin, one of the key rotation pieces last year, before he was beat out by Max Strus, was Duncan Robinson. The situation that we're in right now, where we couldn't trade him, he was injured. Now he has the possibility to come back in your rotation. You're a little bit more depleted. You have to take advantage of the minutes that Lowry's not here. Vincent was shifted to the starting role, which I believe he will finish the season in that role because that starting lineup excels with him there. He frees up everybody. Do you see Duncan Robinson having a role down the line necessarily? Because we struggle shooting. He's a shooter. He's a streaky shooter. But if he gets on a roll, he can open up that offense as well. Do you see him having a role now to the playoffs?
I say why not? He's proven to be a playoff performer in the bubble. If he can pop that bubble and then go back to Miami instead of Orlando, I say put him back in the rotation. Show that he can shoot.
And he's also a playmaker a little bit. So I have no problem with him. And right now, the way it's set up, depending on who we add, and I'll swing it back to you, Clutch, because I do believe this Lowry situation, he's been excused from the team. It's been categorized as a knee injury. I'm not saying he's not injured, but I do believe this extended absence kind of plays also with the injury, but the psychological aspect of now when you bring him back, you can justify bringing him off the bench. If that's the plan, the thing that would basically trump that is if we do sign, for example, a Westbrook, which I'm pretty sure these are part of the conversations that Westbrook is having, and Wall is like, if Lowry's with you, right, he's coming back. What is my role going to be when he comes back? Is he going to be playing? Is he going to be just sitting on the bench? He's an excused absence. He's going to probably be out all of February, maybe mid-March. I know we're going to sign someone before that date. But obviously, you have to sign someone before March 1st to be eligible to even be in the playoffs, to be part of a playoff roster. So I believe it's a perfect setup for the organization to kind of trickle in Lowry into a backup role. If we don't necessarily hit on a Westbrook, on a Wall, if Lowry buys into that, I don't mind Kyle Lowry being our backup point guard. And maybe we can go and get another wing or our stretch four some way, somehow, if someone does else get bought out. So, Clutch, how do you see this playing out with Lowry? Because I'm very intrigued. I do believe who we sign in the off the buyout market will determine a lot of things. You can tell that the relationship is a little sour with the team and Kyle Lowry's representation and Kyle Lowry himself. Is it salvageable completely? No, but you can be professional. On the personal level, you can see this team clicking when he's not there. So I want to see the actual court behavior when he comes back. But how do you see this playing out with Kyle Lowry for the rest of the year?
I mean, it's kind of awkward now because the Heat never put out any noise. They never put out any reports. But all of a sudden, Barry Jackson, before the trade deadline, said that the Heat were very motivated to move Lowry.
And that carries weight because that's Barry Jackson.
Yeah, and Barry Jackson sometimes can be a mouthpiece for the organization. So for him saying that, then you really, it's interesting because now you have the sour situation where, hey man, what are you doing? I'm supposed to be here for a whole another year after this, and you're trying to get rid of me. And he hasn't been playing up to his standards. He hasn't been playing up to Heat standard either. But I don't know how this is going to shake out. I do think he's going to play again, but I don't see how, unless it's a very political move. I don't see how he starts at point guard again for the Heat.
Yeah, I don't at all. I don't see, unless it's an injury, and I don't foresee that. I mean, hopefully. What I am intrigued by is this seems to be a conversation, and Justin, I'll get your feedback here too, man. This seemed to have been a conversation that they had probably in the offseason. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any inside information whatsoever. I'm just thinking from a coaching perspective. I always envision Lowry at this point in his career, even with our second unit, he could be he's still a decent creator. He can create his own shot. He can still get his own shot. He can get people involved, put them in the right places where you have a second unit with a lot of young guys that can be helpful, that can be used for that. That was always a role I saw for him. I don't know if Vincent being hurt in the preseason and him not starting the season on the regular rotation because if he was hurt affected that plan, just like with Victor Oladipo also. And correct me if I'm mistaken, I don't think Vincent was Vincent start? I forgot if he was backing up when we started. Correct me there if I'm wrong, Clutch. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember the beginning of the season.
He was the backup.
He was the backup up front? Okay.
Yeah.
So that's something that intrigues me matchup-wise. I know Vic was hurt, and Omer has yet to come back. I hope to see him after the All-Star break, obviously. I always wonder if Spo wanted to start Vincent all along with that starting unit, and he kind of gave the first half of the season to see how it will work out, because you saw the writing on the wall when Lowry started playing less minutes. Then it got to a point where Lowry wasn't playing the fourth quarter. He was going with Vincent. So you can tell, and usually, and people saw this, the starts of the third quarter were brutal for us. Usually starts of game so-so after we sub Lowry out, but the starts of the third quarter were brutal for us, and that has changed since Vincent took over. So I asked Clutch, Justin, you're from afar. Obviously, we went through the whole trade deadline situation. There was rumors of him going out there on the West Coast to the Clippers. It doesn't happen. How do you repair a relationship like that? At this point, you're a professional. You're still getting paid. The team did work with you last year through your personal issues and your personal matters. Like I said, very private. No one really understood. I'm pretty sure a few know what the situation was. Everybody on the outside has no clue what it was. Everybody has kept it tight-knit, which is how we here with the Heat organization works. There's a situation that I said, oh, we got Justin there. Ooh, just on camera. There we go. Hold on. Let me switch this up so we can see each other right there. Perfect. Okay. Justin, I'll take it to you. How do you repair a relationship of this sorts where it's strictly professional, but obviously feelings are hurt, and it comes sometimes athletes at a certain age making a certain amount of money, they believe they should be starting. I believe last year with Westbrook's situation, obviously LA acquired him, right? But they also should have brought him off the bench because that was the most productive thing for him and for this team. You can't make a player that's done something for all his life. You can teach him something new. You can adjust your game a little bit, but you're forcing him to play a style that is not beneficial for your team at all. Do you feel that there's any repair to the Lowry relationship, or this is just strictly professional? I'm going to finish the season. I might not even play, depending on who you sign.
You know, I think what's going on with Lowry is he's probably a little salty that he's not getting the minutes. He may not realize that he's declining, but everybody else can see it. At this point, of course, you're going to think you're still a starting caliber point guard in this league. But the reality is you got to get younger. You got to get with these young athletic guys like Ja and per se, to really step up your game and win that championship. But if I'm Lowry, I'm sitting there and saying, just like you said, I'll just be professional. I'll play out the season, and then I'll demand a trade come June post-finals.
Yeah, and either way, I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to look into. No matter what happens, even if we go deep into the playoffs this year, I do believe that Lowry is the number one priority next offseason is somehow including Lowry when his contract becomes attractive, because at this point you're probably going to acquire a superstar or a star with more years, more money. You're already going to be a tax team, so you're going to have to negotiate these trades, and you might have to give up less compensation because Lowry's contract becomes more valuable next year if you're taking back salary. If Duncan Robinson is included, that's another play. Obviously, we're from here to then which star ask out, because then you're obviously by nature the talks of including Tyler Hero are going to be there. Bam is not going to be traded. Jimmy's not going to be traded. Then you have Gabe's extension, Mike's extension. Are you going to extend them at what price? Are you going to use them as a sign and trade? There are many components that this offseason, which is going to be the telling offseason to the final bridge here between Butler's era and Bam's era, as we've seen, is mostly Bam's team now. And I do believe there's one thing that is for sure. When Bam is aggressive, not overly aggressive, naturally aggressive, this team performs better. He has to be your focal point on offense. You have to run your offense through him. Everything else will trickle down. Jimmy can have those games. Forgot to put my phone on vibrate. Jimmy can have those games, but Bam has to be your focal point. It opens up everything for you. Everything. So that's our Heat coverage for today. We've covered them, and we'll cover them again after the All-Star break. We might not have too much next week, Heat-wise, because we'll have the All-Star break. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. As a kid, I still remember vividly watching the Jason Richardson dunk contest when he went behind the back with his left hand, the Vince Carter dunk contest. It's always been the most exciting part to me of, look at the West Coast. Justin, there you go. Look at that sunset.
Sorry for the interruption, everybody, but
no, man, there's no interruption. Look at that.
Today.
Wow, man.
And look, all you Floridians, here's something that you've probably never seen before. Over here behind me, elevation.
Is that a mountain? Oh, man.
The only mountain you guys know is Mount Trashmore on the way down from Orlando.
Yeah. Trust me. And I got a landfill. I don't know if you heard, right behind my house is I live 5 blocks from the energy plant that caught on fire on Sunday. I think they were finally able to put out the fire today. It's a waste to energy plant. It's county owned, but it's privately operated. They came out and needed like a bunch of repairs, like tens of billions of dollars of repairs. They're trying to get it out of here because it's mostly now residential. This used to be an industrial site. So it's been burning. We were ordered to stay indoors for the last 3 or 4 days. Supposedly they were testing the air quality. Everything came back fine. We were allowed to practice outdoors today again. So when you say landfill, yeah, I look back and out of my window, you see a nice little landfill. That's my little mountain here, Mount Doral. But I'll get it out to you, Justin. I was mentioning All-Star break. I used to love All-Star Saturday. That was it for me. I don't mind the little celebrity games and all that the day before. But to me, I didn't even care about the All-Star game. I used to love the skills competition, the three-point contest, the dunk contest. So I'll give it to you. I'm going to name the participants, and we'll go by the skills. I'll start with skills, for example. The NBA has changed up the format a little bit. It makes it a little bit more fun, a little bit more creative. Before, the skills challenge was just one player going through the obstacles. Now it's a team event. We got Team Antetokounmpo. We got, obviously, with his Antetokounmpo brothers, Giannis, Alex, and Giannis. Team Jazz, that's composed of Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton. And then you have Team Rookies. Honestly, this is my pick for win. Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Jabari Smith Jr. I think I'm going to go there with Team Rookies. So, Justin, who do you have winning the skills?
I'd say the Team Rookies is the best story. You've got clearly the Rookie of the Year leader, Paolo Banchero, right there. Jaden Ivey, kid can ball a whole lot. Jabari Smith is having a rough rookie year. Hopefully he'll improve. But if they were to win this, that's how you put your name on the map in weekends like this.
Yeah.
Then you've got Then you've got the Jazz. Every one of those guys has a chip on their shoulder about what's going on with that team. The fact that they were number one in the West earlier this season with all the transactions that were made, they had something to prove, and they still have something to prove. I think that they're going to be the most motivated. However, my pick with all this is the royalty family in the NBA at this moment, and that is Team Antetokounmpo. Giannis is going to face the most pressure because he's carrying the family name here. Thanasis and the other one I'm not quite sure about. Hey, but they all three have rings, so I'll give them that. And give me Team Antetokounmpo. Why not?
Okay. Clutch. What I mean, Team Jazz is the hometown team, so they're gonna have that moral support there. But Clutch, who are you going with?
I guess we have a total split because I got Team Jazz.
Ooh, beautiful.
All right.
Because I guess we're talking about hometown pride. So
Yeah.
and you got to. They have really solid players. I think you said it was Jordan Clarkson, Kessler, and
and Sexton.
Yeah, they're shot makers.
Yep.
And
very versatile.
And
all of them.
Yeah, they're really good at what they do. And really quick, if I can go on a mini rant.
Go ahead.
What are we doing with the Antetokounmpo brothers again?
Oh.
Because it's just Giannis carrying his two. I'm sorry, his mid brothers, who are only there because of their last name. Like
it's like in the park when you would pick a person, you had to pick the brothers, or you brought the ball. Like you guaranteed that you're playing because you bring the ball, and if you go home, you take the ball with you. So you were always guaranteed a spot on the court. That type of guy. That's what they're doing.
I guess you have other talented players in the NBA where you're wasting two spots on two Antetokounmpo brothers who don't even see the court in an NBA game.
No.
And yeah, so for the skills, I mean that's my little rant, but I got the Team Jazz winning.
And I know, for example, I think Friday night, Dwayne Wade is going to be heavily involved here, obviously, marketing wise. For example, I've never been to Utah. Utah's on my bucket list. They tell me it's absolutely beautiful, it's breathtaking. The views, if you want to go skiing or just calm living, and I want to definitely check it out. NBA is going to take this opportunity where it's to me it's actually pretty impressive because the Jazz were supposed to be tanking, but the Jazz are a decent team. Obviously, they're still going to finish out of the playoffs, in my opinion. I still think they're going to drive down, but the NBA is going to maximize any form of publicity that they can use. So obviously, Dwayne Wade is going to be heavy Friday night, heavily involved in the All-Star game, I assume. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. 3-point contest. I'll tell you the contestants. Well, one contestant that I don't know if he's going to partake is Anthony Simmons. He got hurt yesterday. I believe it was his ankle. They were doing an MRI today. So based on that, I can almost 100% assure you that he's not going to partake. But the other contestants, Tyrese Halliburton, he's having a great season. He has a weird shooting form, but somehow they continue to go in. We got Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Kevin Huerter, if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, another local, Utahnian there. I already told you Anthony Simmons. I don't know if they're going to replace him or not, or they're just going to go with the field. And then you got Jason Tatum. I'll send this one to you, Clutch, first. Who do you got winning the 3-point contest?
Maybe it's the little homer in me, but Tyler's kind of built for something like this. If the early shots go in a few in a row, he gets hot and he doesn't miss. It happens in games where once he makes 2 in a row, he's hot and he's scoring 16 in a quarter.
Yeah.
So I think he's the dark horse to win this. I won't say he's going to win. I'll give you a realistic option. I think it's finally gonna be Damian Lillard.
Okay.
I think he'll get the win, but I would say that Tyler makes the last round.
The last round? Okay. And you know what's funny, because I was thinking about Damian, but I think it'll be Tyler and Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield typically does very well in these contests. So we'll see. And Tyler, I've seen Tyler in his warm-ups. Tyler goes to spots, and Tyler rarely misses, man, when he's warming up. Rarely misses.
Yeah. And you said, I don't know how Halliburton's going to do it because of his shot.
I don't know.
And because it's a timed event. So,
exactly.
With the little hitch, I don't know how much time that's going to take off the rest. Otherwise, he's a pretty good shooter.
If he's just there standing alone and he has all day to take these shots, I would have picked Halliburton because he's. I have a player right now. His name's Javon. He has one of the weirdest releases I've ever seen, but his shot is always lined up, and I'm amazed by it because this kid is only 14, 15, so I don't want to tinker. Us, the coaching staff, we don't want to tinker too much with his shot. We're trying to fix a little bit of his release, but he rotates the ball before he shoots it. It takes him like an extra few milliseconds, but his shot is always lined up and the rotation is perfect. But with Halliburton, is that little glitch. And like you mentioned, these events you have to go quicker, which is why I think out of everyone here, because even Jason Tatum has a setup. Tyler Hero, I think, has probably the quickest release out of everybody. A hit or two, but we'll see. Justin, who's your pick, my man?
Oh, I do love that dark horse pick clutch of Tyler Hero. This man was built for things like this, like y'all were saying. I'd love to see him win. I do also think that Damian Lillard is going to take this home because out of this whole crowd, name me a guy who is more cold-blooded and clutch out of this group. We've seen it time and time again. What time is it?
Dame
time. And it is Dame's time to win the 3.
You know, now that you say that, Justin, I know Damian has been, and I'll segue a little bit. Do you ever feel, I know he's mentioned that he's happy in Portland, and I'm, by the way, to me, one of the biggest steals, Portland single-handedly, they acquired Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish is going to flourish over there with Chauncey Billups. I don't understand how long Chauncey Billups will be the coach. He does have, to me, the view to be coached long term if they support him and they build a nice roster around him. But I love the Cam Reddish trade. I don't know if it's going to push him over the top in regards to Damian Lillard. Do you ever feel Damian Lillard would actually request a trade? Because that's my number one. We already talked about the Bradley Beal thing, and me and Clutch we're already burned out with Bradley Beal. Right? That's been months, years. But do you feel, now that you mentioned Damian Lillard, do you feel that he would ever request a trade officially? Or Portland will trade him?
I'd rather answer this with a bet. Who leaves their team first? Bradley Beal, Giannis, or Damian Lillard? All 3 of those guys have said they're perfectly happy where they are. Giannis has already won a title.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if Milwaukee doesn't get back to at least the Eastern Finals in the next couple years, that he could start thinking about leaving Milwaukee? And you bet your ass that anybody who wants Giannis is going to have to pay up.
Oh, yeah. And that's one thing I never discounted. I always believe, and Giannis has even said it. He promised he was going to give a championship to Milwaukee. He did that. So he doesn't really owe them anything. They've built a contender around him. I'm pretty sure he's going to push it to his limit. But I do believe Giannis will end his career elsewhere, aside from Milwaukee. I really do. But damn, well, now you mentioned that, that's a
so your pick out of that is Giannis.
Okay. Whoever leaves first. No. I believe Giannis will leave. I do believe that. But out of all those 3, well, man, it possibly could be Giannis because Bradley's been flirting with leaving forever. I'll say Bradley Beal. Clutch, who you got?
I'm going with probably the oldest of the group, which is Dame.
Okay,
because eventually, you're going to get tired of not winning.
Exactly.
And you want to chase that one championship at least.
Yeah.
So I think the oldest guy of the group, and that's Dame.
Okay. Not bad.
All right. I guess we'll go 3-way on this. I'll take Giannis.
There we go. Even split throughout everything. All right. We'll see for the final event of Saturday night, the culmination of it all, the dunk contest. This something to me, it's lost a little bit of its grandeur, of its value, because no longer the top tier athletes are performing. Are partaking. Usually, and it's always been like that. They've always sprinkled a few rookies, a few younger guys, but we got to remember, I mean, Vince Carter was only, I think it was his 2nd or 3rd year when he won the dunk contest. And T-Mac also was like his 3rd year when he partook. But I want to go back to the years of the dunk contest where the superstars were performing. You don't have to incentivize them. People are like, oh, give them money. That's just a showcase. I understand a lot of people, but if you're going to be there either way, you can partake. So this year's field, we even have a player that hasn't even played a regular season game in Mac McClung. You know, the White Springs. We got Kenyon Martin Jr. Obviously, his dad was a springboard, so I wouldn't doubt if he takes it. We got Trey Murphy the third from the Pelicans, and we got Jericho Sims, the rookie. Who do you have, Justin, winning the dunk contest?
Oh man, like you said, this is lost its luster of an event because it went from seeing your favorite players out there to guys just trying to do a marketing ploy for themselves,
That's
maybe
it.
to showcase who they are, get that next contract. We saw Derek Jones Jr. a couple years ago when he wasn't even known really, ended up winning the contest. But from this group, we have a lot of young guys. The Rockets guy in me wants to see Kenyon Martin Jr. win it, but if you ask me who I think will win, I'll go with the curveball. I'll say Mac McClung.
Oh, I mean, that would be the shocking pick, but I do give this here. When Derek Jones, he wasn't known a lot worldwide, but even here we saw him. He was already, I believe, he was already starting or he was playing decent minutes with us. But we all knew it was Eric Jones, man. He could fly. So we were all expecting him to win. We really did, and that was a great dunk contest, by the way. I believe Aaron Gordon was in that dunk contest. I would argue and say that was the last great dunk contest that we've had, with those two going at it. Clutch, who you have winning the dunk contest?
I'm just gonna say Kenyon Martin Jr. because it's the only one I know.
You know how many fans
And Mac
actually
McClung
feel
has
that way?
Mac McClung
You-
has a
do you think
championship
that's the-
ring.
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I mean, okay. Internet-wise, McClung used to go viral when he was in high school, and even when he went to college as well. So we know he could take off. We know he could jump, and he'll be the surprise pick. But I'm gonna still say I like Kenyon Martin Jr. Because I know he's an in-game dunker, and I love Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin was like your prototypical four that it was just down low. He was all hustle, all run, and then he could dunk from anywhere. So I'll keep that in the family with him. He took off the genetics for there. I'm gonna end the show on this note. We went through the trade deadline. We saw a bunch of moves. With the Lakers situation now with LeBron, Justin, you're out there in LA. LeBron supposedly, his ankle supposedly severely hurt. He's been playing through it. I know he's going to get treatment. He's going to be honored in the All-Star game. He might play a few minutes, probably limited. He'll try to play in the All-Star game, which I always find funny to me. You're not playing in regular season games, but you're going to play in the All-Star game. You run the risk of injuring yourself, but I know it's not the same intensity. People are taking it calmly. There's really no defense there. What do you see happening in the second half of the season? The teams that made the acquisitions, obviously, I'm intrigued to see how Kevin Durant fits in Phoenix, which probably perfect fit. We heard the rumors, even Kyrie Irving. Dallas, for example. Dallas acquires Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic. They have a killer backcourt. One thing that concerned me, Jason Kidd goes, "Oh, well, don't worry about it. We'll worry about interior defense later on." People don't come to see you play defense anymore. People coming to see you, people scoring. I'm like, in the playoffs, you're gonna need that defense, man. So I'm intrigued. One of the stories, I'm intrigued how it ends up in Dallas because I do believe possibly Kyrie Irving does leave again, or as part of a sign and trade. So what is something that you're looking for in the second half of the season?
Let's keep our eyes on the West. All the good players seem to go there. And if I'm a Denver, if I'm a Memphis, my opponents have struck fear in my eyes. You've got Suns, if you're Denver, who swept you a couple years ago,
Yes.
full strength, Durant. You've got Dallas, who now on paper could blow anybody out on any given night while allowing almost as many points. So you have to take up your scoring. And then you look out to LA and you've got the Clippers upgrading. You've got LA Lakers massively upgrading their bench and their starters. Now that all hinges on, is LeBron all in? Because before this trade deadline, I'm thinking, you know what, LeBron doesn't care anymore. He's got the scoring record. He's got 4 rings. He's not trying to do anything but just retire out here in La La Land, build his brand. He's just playing out these last couple of years, waiting for his son. But after the trade deadline, Rob Pelinka has clearly signaled that no, we're going for it still. LeBron still wants to win. Can he still be the guy to carry you there? How much can this team help him? That remains to be seen.
A clutch. One thing, obviously, we're Heat homers. We're here. We see it every day. The East really doesn't scare me in regards to the upgrades. Each team made an upgrade. Even I think one of the best upgrades, honestly, the Knicks acquiring Josh Hart. But I don't even fear the Knicks. I believe Brooklyn is going to start crumbling down a little bit more. Ben Simmons is basically unplayable. I mean, I could find a way to play Ben Simmons, but right now the Nets possibly can't. Philadelphia's strong. I mean, they signed Denman, so they're strong now. Milwaukee's on a roll. They're playing their best basketball to me, even more than the Celtics. Celtics are top notch. What really intrigues you for the second half of the season? You can say as a Heat fan or overall in the NBA. What are you looking for in the second half?
Well, I'll do both, I guess. As just an NBA fan, I'm interested to see how much of a push. I mean, we kind of touched on it. How much of a push the Lakers, and they're the 13th seed right now.
Yes.
And the Suns were the 4th seed, which is a lot more manageable, but they're still 8 games behind first. See how much of a push they can make after the All-Star break. The Suns towards better seeding, and the Lakers towards being in the playoffs.
Do you see them not making the playoffs? Any possibility of them not making the playoffs?
I mean, the Lakers have had this dysfunction around them for a couple of years now. So I wouldn't put it past them somehow not working with all these moves either, and just missing out or losing in the play-in, because I mean it's only one game. You lose and you're out.
Yeah, so win or go home. That's crazy, man. I could
see a world where the Lakers don't make it into the playoffs, but I think they will, just barely, but I think they will. And well, as for the Heat, I just want to see them keep competing against the good teams. You see, like the losses against the bad teams don't bother me as much because I chalk it up to playing down to competition. But I want to see them keep playing well against the good teams, because if you play, I mean, we beat the Celtics every game this year, didn't we?
I believe so.
Yeah. And we've played the top teams pretty well, except for I think Cleveland kind of has our number.
Even Denver, for example, yesterday. 2 days ago, Monday. We played Denver Monday. Not an excuse. Obviously, I'm not trying to excuse a loss. We lost to the number 1 seed in the West, possibly one of the best team in the NBA, arguably. We were playing like 4 undrafted rookies at one time. So I understand where we're going, and I understand sometimes the frustrations because that became the little storyline. People want to see actual us succeed. And here in Miami, we understand we're a championship organization, et cetera, et cetera. But I am intrigued by what you mentioned of I want to see this second half push. And Spoelstra typically always has a great after the All-Star break month into the playoffs. So I'm always intrigued by that. And I'm intrigued by the rotations. I do believe, look, Robinson's playing today. Robinson's already in. We're up 56-52. It's halftime. I'll try to catch the game after our show. So there's always progress. There's always progress in what we see. And one thing that to me is that people don't really understand. I know they talk a lot about these clutch games for us, and no pun to you, clutch. It comes down to the playoffs, to clutch time and crunch time. So I don't mind us playing these clutch games because it sets you up for a scenario where, you want to put people away quick, but you also are going to see yourself playing in these situations when it matters the most. So I'm looking in the second half for continuity. Justin, I asked the question, honestly, to clutch. In regards to you out there in LA, you get the feeling for it. If they do all these reshufflings, basically, obviously, to appease LeBron, they didn't have to trade the second first round pick. They only traded 1. Do you see a scenario where this completely backfires and they don't even make the playoffs?
Oh, of course, absolutely. With the Lakers organization, you really don't know these days. Jerry Buss is gone. Back in those days, you could almost assure they'd be a shoe fire in the playoffs. But now, The Lakers have been a laughable organization for the better part of a decade now. I don't expect anything less from them.
And one that on that note, Justin, be safe out there, man. I hope you got to your destination. Beautiful sunset.
I did.
Be safe, my man. Clutch, like always. I ended with you, my brother. Any final words for us?
No, man, I'm excited to see the third or fourth Heat player to win the 3-point competition.
Yep.
Because
That's it?
we have a few, right? Yeah. I just
We
like
have 3-point competition. We have Jason Capono won it. I
Daquan
believe
Cook.
Duncan Robinson won it.
no, Duncan Robinson didn't win it.
He didn't win it?
No.
Damn, who was the one that won the 3-point
I can think off the top of my head, Jason Capono,
Yeah.
Daquan.
Cook, that's true. You sure
I think
Duncan
Glenn Rice
Robinson
won
one?
one.
Glenn Rice competed. I don't think, did he win one? I know Harold Miner, he won 2 dunk contests, I believe, as a member of the Heat.
Well, it doesn't matter. Tyler Hero's going to be 3 or 4 or 5, but he's
Boom.
going to be one.
Boom, you heard it here first. You heard it here first. All right, guys, for us, that wraps it up. You have been listening to Fast Break on the Finns Talk Sports Network, coming at you live every Wednesday at 8 p.m., schedule permitting. For my West Coast brother, Justin Garfield, my voice of God, Miami brother, Miami Clutch. I am yours truly, Alex. Thank you so much for tuning in. Heat Nation, enjoy the All-Star weekend, and we'll see you second half of the season. Be safe, Miami. Much love.